Ukrainian military says 2 of its fighter jets have been shot down by pro-Russia separatists days after the downing of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17. A spokesman says the pilots managed to eject, but the planes crashed close to the village of Dmitrivka in the Lugansk region. Well, it came as the first bodies from flight MH17 left Ukraine bound for the Netherlands. The country, which lost 193 of its citizens in the crash, is holding a national day of mourning. More now on those fighter jets. Let's speak to Nazanin Moshiri. She's in Donetsk in eastern Ukraine. Now, what more is being said about the downing of these 2 jets, Nazanin?
Well, the Ukrainian army says they were Sukhoi Su-25 fighter jets, and there were 4 of them on a mission when 2 of them came under attack. 2 of them were hit and damaged. The pilots actually managed to eject themselves close to Dmitrivka, which is close to the Russian border and close to, not far from the crash site of the Malaysian MH17. Now, we've spoken to the Minister of Defence of the self-declared Donetsk People's Republic, Igor Strelkov, and he has confirmed that at least 1 of those fighter jets were brought down by separatists. Now, there is discussion over what exactly brought them down. We understand from the Ukrainians they believe that it was a man-pad anti-aircraft missile, so that's a less sophisticated version. That's the one that can be actually moved and can be fired from the shoulder. Of course, there are a lot of reports that the surface-to-air missile, Buk missile, which brought down the plane, was a far more sophisticated piece of weaponry, possibly taken either from the Ukrainians or across the border.
And Nazanin, I mean, it's a stark reminder, really, isn't it, of what you've been saying over the past couple of days, ever since the crash of MH17. A stark reminder that where you are is technically a war zone, isn't it? You can see we're having a bit of a problem with a break-up in the signal too, Nazanin. I don't think it's going to come back to us. We'll leave her there in Donetsk for the moment. Well, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine is also leading to tensions in the parliament. Scuffles broke out on Wednesday after nationalist lawmakers tried to remove the leader of the pro-Russian Communist Party. The session was supposed to be discussing a new pro-European treaty due to be submitted to parliament for ratification. A Dutch Air Force transport plane carrying the first 16 coffins with the remains of victims of the downed Malaysian airliner is due to arrive shortly in the Netherlands. It took off on Wednesday from an airport in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. From there, Scott Heidler sent this report.
4 coffins held by the Ukrainian Honor Guard, just 4 of the 298 people on flight MH17.
Today, your journey home begins.
Before they were loaded onto a Dutch Air Force plane at the Kharkiv airport, a ceremony for those killed when the plane was shot down last week. And across town at a factory complex, there are still dozens of bodies and fragments that need to be prepared.
We are here today, representatives of the many nations touched by the tragedy of Flight 17, to honour all of those who were lost, and to pay our respects to them as they begin their journey home.
This C-130 is carrying the first 16 victims from MH17 out of Ukraine. There'll be more flown later in the day, but these are the first victims that will leave Ukraine, going to the Netherlands for that long and painstaking process of identification. 2 hours later, another 24 bodies were loaded onto an Australian military plane, finally getting the dignity and respect their families and most of the world have been calling for.